Greetings, everybody. Father Drew here with our Catechism in 40 days. We are up to the seventh article of the Creed. And if these videos are helpful for you, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. You can leave a comment either in the email where you got it or wherever you want to leave a comment on the side or pass it on to a friend or whatever. So the article, the seventh article of the Creed today is... again, it's about Jesus Christ, who will, from thence he shall come to judge the living and the dead, is the name of the article, is how the article proceeds. Is what we believe. We profess that he will come from thence to judge the living and the dead. That is, from the right hand of the Father, as we heard in the previous article. And so this article is about the judgment that is belong to Jesus Christ. He is the king. He is the lawgiver, and he is the judge. And we have to understand him in this capacity as judge. As you probably could tell, by the way, with these as we've been proceeding through these articles, I have not been able to in the time of these videos. The short time to give any sort of exhaustive treatment of each of the articles. So what I've just been sort of touching on major aspects or just simply some particular aspects of each of the articles, and as sort of a keyhole to kind of get ourselves into the articles, and we can revisit the fuller scope of all the details that are contained within the articles another time. But so I guess that's just by way of saying maybe one thing I could touch on with this particular article is in terms of Christ as judge, is to know the difference between the two judgments that you and I have to look forward to. There are two judgments. One is the particular judgment that occurs at the ending of each of our individual lives, and then there's the second is the general judgment. So it's just good to know the difference between the particular and the general judgment. The particular judgment, and both of them, in both of these judgments, Jesus Christ is the judge. So each of us, with regards especially now to the particular judgment, each of us is a heartbeat away from our particular judgment. So in the moment of our death, as soon as body and soul separate, our soul immediately goes before the presence of the Lord, who before the presence of Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ speaks a word of judgment on our soul, and that it's an irrevocable word of judgment. It's a word of judgment which indicates and ratifies and decides the eternity that we have that we'll be entering into. Whether it will be an eternity of bliss or an eternity of damnation. And he will make that judgment based on how we lived our life, and he will make that judgment perfectly. Thank goodness he's the one who's making that judgment and not anybody else. We could not make such a judgment perfectly. He is going to make that judgment. So that's called a particular judgment, like I said. If it's hell, it's immediate, and it's swift, and there will then commence the eternal punishments of hell as soon as he pronounces that particular judgment for us, these judgments are not overturned. There's no appeal. I mean, how can you? Jesus is the supreme judge. If it's heaven, that too also will commence either immediately. Our soul will immediately begin to know the eternal bliss, or it'll commence first with a time of purification, which might still be required for the soul. So the soul the souls of the blessed will in that case will go through and this is what we refer to with regards to purgatory, this purification which might still be required of the blessed who still have to atone. Still have punishment that still requires repayment and satisfaction due to the due to our the venial sins which we've committed in our lives. The way I explain that one is often to the youngsters is it happens the moment when we're called home, and anyhow I use an image. This is more concerning just the last things, heaven, hell, and purgatory. Imagine when you're as a kid, you're running around outside playing football in the yard or something, playing with your friends, and just run around in the afternoon, and the mom calls you all home for dinner, and and you come home, and mom's standing there at the front door as you're running back inside, and she takes one look at you because you're been running around, and she'll indicate that you've got to go upstairs to wash up, and that's kind of like purgatory. That you're not prepared to go straight to the dinner table based on how you've sort of been running around, and the dirt you've kicked up, and you got to scrub first. That's a little bit like purgatory. Heaven would be you've already anticipated the dinner, and so you're not only are you're ready to go straight to the dinner table, but you've probably already been helping getting everybody else ready to go to dinner. Hell would be mom calling you home, and you've decided instead to run away, and so you ain't going to dinner. Anyway, that's just a little thing on the last things. But in terms of the judgment, that's that happens immediately. The general judgment, now that's the particular judgment which occurs for each of us immediately in the moment of our death. The general judgment is distinct. That takes place on the last day, where after all the dead have risen, then there will come Jesus, sort of with the angels surrounding him, and it will be made manifest, sort of the word that he has spoken concerning all of creation. Each of us will become evident to the whole world, and this is only right because he's the Lord of all, and so much of this has taken place in a manner which cannot be seen, and God's glory is to be made known to the whole world, and so all the good deeds that have been done should be praised and honored, and all the evil deeds that require punishment are going to be made known, so that the good people can be justly vindicated by our Lord, who is the righteous one, and the evil deeds will not go unpunished. So this is evident here at the ending of the world in the general judgment. Okay, all of that sort of precedes the new heavens and the new earth which will commence, and I don't know how much to speak about that. That sort of goes a little bit beyond the particular element of this article in the Creed. He will come again in glory to judge. From thence he shall come to judge the living and the dead. So it's just it's kind of the climactic conclusion of the Paschal mystery, which in a sense sort of commences with the Passion of the Lord, proceeds through his death, his burial, his resurrection, his ascension into heaven, his being seated at the right hand of the Father, and his coming again in glory. I know the Paschal mystery typically tends to refer most specifically to our Lord's offering on the cross, including his burial and resurrection. But sometimes it can be extended to sort of the whole mystery of the culmination of our Lord's, the purpose of the incarnation. So the Word became flesh in order that we might precisely that we might know the glorious freedom of the children of God, and that's concluded with with the final judgment at the ending of the world. Okay. All right, any questions or comments, or hope you've enjoyed these. We got more to come, so stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.